if there's anything I'm afraid of right now is as a mother. I mean, right now, the only thing I'm afraid of is leaving my kids behind. I'm no longer afraid of anything other than that.
Oftentimes I feel like these things happen in our lives, and it's like, yes, it feels so horrible, and it's like you're in this storm, but there's a reason for the storm.
Sometimes it's exhausting to see a same script online, how, hey, here's my 8-digit income, my car, my new house, my luxury, things like that. But what don't people really realize is what you see online is the after effect.
When you're working with someone in your community and they get those wins, it's a whole different experience. It's a whole other level.
Yes. So being able to do this now, it's amazing to see how Filipinos are now more believing in themselves, that they can, that they got inspired by the story, that they also want to become, they want to join the SAASpreneurs in Dallas. Like just seeing how much people have been inspired by the story that they also can do it, right? Because sometimes they just have to see somebody do it and then they can also become one.
Not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur.
Yes,
And
true.
but the thing is you also don't need to feel subservient in mentality, and at bringing them up and helping them gain that confidence that undoubtedly you're giving them is amazing. So thank you for doing that.
We do a lot of events, like in-person events in the Philippines, because we really want them to connect with other people. When you build a community, you're right, it's not just about you, it's about you connecting people to people, letting them explore, letting them see what others are doing, and to also learn from them. So yeah, in the age of AIs, we need to be more human.
All right, Cece Tan, thank you so, and another so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm super, super excited to be here today. So thank you so much for having me. Actually, it's an honor.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Mhm.
So I have to ask you, Cece, because I know that you've won the Diamond Award for High Level. Can you explain for the people who don't know you? Can you explain how you use High Level and how you were actually able to get the Diamond Award? Because you did this so fast; it's super impressive.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, the Diamond Award, we were able to get it probably like a year in the business. And what I do mostly is I am in the coaching business. So what I'm doing is that I am pretty much training people in the Philippines to learn high level. And then one of the things that I do provide them is basically not just the learning, but also the sub account. So I was also so shocked, honestly, to get that many people in the coaching program in less than a year. So yeah, that's what happened. So it started, probably I started like December of this day. So December 4 is when I started to launch the program. And then yeah, after a year we had over like 1,000 people in our account, like in our agency.
So, what made you decide to go that route as opposed to like the affiliate commissions?
Actually, I'm doing both. I didn't realize that really there is an affiliate program in the beginning, so I did that route. And then realizing that okay, not everybody is really gonna be just learning high level, because I have people that I spoke with who are also business owners and entrepreneurs. So for those people who would like to just start their own agency, I route them directly to the agency. So what's happening is that in the beginning they'll be under my agency because they're still learning go high level, and then later on when they're ready, they're basically going into the affiliate. Mhm.
So, Cece, can you tell us like how did you find high level? Like, what were you doing in your life that led you to high level?
So I used to have my own virtual assistant agency back in the day. Yeah, pretty much since last year because I closed that business last year. But I was in the business helping real estate investors, set up their own, I would say like lead generation system. In the beginning, I didn't even know that we were using high level, honestly, because we were using REI Reply, and it's I think it's a white label version of Go High Level. Then I didn't know that was Go High Level. So that was I think 2020, And then we were using it to all of our clients at least. And then we were helping them set that up, set up lead generation. We were doing a lot of SMS marketing for them until maybe around like 2021 is when I learned that, oh, this was Go High Level, because then we have people coming to us and saying, hey, can you also set up my own, Go High Level account similar to what you've done and, what you've done in REI. And I was like telling them, no, we can't do that because I love, the owner of REI reply. So yeah, that's when I found High Level pretty much. Mhm.
S- So you have a different spin on high level. You know, you're not an agency, you're teaching
Yes.
VAs. I absolutely love that. I know that you have a mission about that. Can you share that as well?
Yeah, so ever since day one, I have this mission to create like at least 500,000 job opportunity to Filipinos. It's very, very ambitious, but it's something that I'm very positive about. So, literally when I started, I used to just hire people, to like, um, to basically help real estate investors and being able to set up my own community apart from doing agency basically allows me to hit that goal. Because in the beginning, when I was doing like virtual assistant agency, it was so hard because then you have to manage hundreds of thousands of people, right? But when I started switching to agency, meaning to say like just teaching people how to serve clients, I think now it's going to be a lot more possible for me to hit that mission, you know? Mhm.
So Cece, I know that you have a story to tell. I've kind of heard part of it. I absolutely adore you, by the way. Not only are you like super cute, but your personality is so fun and so I can't really think of the word. There's something about you that people gravitate towards you. Like we did the unofficial GHL summit
Right.
and I'm looking at the comments and everybody is in love with Cece. Everybody's in
Oh.
love with you. Even when you spoke at the summit and just everybody is so in love with you. Can you share like what do you think that is? What is it about you? Is it how you've created your community, the value you provide? What is it about you that you think people are so attracted to?
I mean, first of all, I'm very, very happy to hear that and very, very honored. I think, I'm blushing just to hear that word. But I think what I hear a lot is, I guess, the energy. I mean, people love when you have all that energy to talk to them. And I think it's just the warmth when you talk to people, like just being honest, being genuine with the relationship that you kind of build with them. So honestly, I don't even know, but I think it's really just being able to just be you in front of a lot of people, sharing how like I think it's for me when I started sharing my real stories of how I've lost my business, how I struggled in life, because most people out there just share the wins, right? Like just share all these shiny little objects in the internet. But when I started sharing my struggles, how I get from having one people to eventually having 100 to losing that entire thing, and then people are able to just relate to that, and then at the same time making them see that despite of all that pain, all that struggles, you're still in there, you're still able to show them that you're fighting. So it's the strength. I think, like I said, it's the warmth. So even if you struggled, it's like making people feel that you know you are able to get it to this point, and at the same time, literally, for me, I think it's really the authenticity more than anything. It's like being honest, real, straightforward. I think that makes me lovable. Yeah, because I don't have filters, right? So when I don't like people, I just tell them that I don't like them, but in with kindness. But at the same time, I also tell people how I literally feel about them. So yeah, I think that's what it is.
So
I
could
think
you
so too. Go ahead, Marla.
Mhm.
Sorry. So I haven't heard your story, of the trial that you went through that you just spoke about. Could you just kind of give us a little rundown and bring us up to speed? I'm sure there's viewers that haven't heard your story. So would you mind sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned earlier, I basically started my own virtual assistant agency back in 2018, but I literally closed it last year. So, I used to have over 100 virtual assistant agency. I mean, sorry, virtual assistants specifically in my business, but I was one of the victims of AI, I guess. Because in 20 it was in 2023. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in 2023 it was around that time when, like when we have this scenarios, because we do a lot of SMS marketing, right? So, and then all of a sudden there's this SMS regulations, and then this, as well as this AI. So, majority of our clients are, super afraid that, oh no, we can no longer text people, and at the same time they started like exploring AIs, meaning to say, when we were working with them, they're all of a sudden saying, hey, there's now AI, I'm gonna cancel my services with you guys. So like from literally over 100, we were down to half. Like beginning of 2024, we were down to half of our clients. And then, I started literally losing clients every single month. And I think part of that because, we were very complacent in our services for the past 5 years that we didn't really do a lot of things to like improve it. So we literally started losing clients. I think from January, we started losing 10 and then down to 5, and then I get to a point in my life where I got really depressed because now I don't have money to pay, to pay for operations, for salaries. I think I it became really difficult when I only had like 15, 20 people, and half of that were admins, meaning to say no longer generating a lot of income in the business, like sales revenue, but they're part of my admin, like HR, operations manager. And it was so hard that around August of last year, I almost took my life because I got so depressed. I also received, you know, I would say what we call in the government, they do issue tax letters to business owners. And I was also like audited for over 7 million pesos at that time. So, like, it's, when, everything is like literally happening all at once. You're losing people, you're losing revenue, and now you're also facing tax issues. So, I'm like, I'm helpless at that time. So that's when I decided to make that bold decision that, hey, let me settle all these salaries because I'm losing my mind. I'm literally losing my mind because I was crying every single day. From June to August, I was literally crying. I think it's not because of losing the business, but I was so afraid to to tell people that I'm defeated. I think that's the most painful part. It's like telling people that, hey, I've lost my business because I have my pride. I just can't tell people that I've lost. So, but then at that time I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. I think I remember going to church, and then I was crying, and then there's this one message in the church saying, run back to me, child, because I was trying to, I was like trying to solve everything myself. But when I heard that message during that church service, I just cried. And then I went home and I told myself, okay, let's close this. Let me settle all the salary. Let me settle all these tax issues. And I didn't know that it's going to take me some time to close the business, but I did. So yeah, I did. Like, January of, I think December of last year is when I officially shut the business down and was able to like literally, like settle all my dues from the old business. And
Cece, can you talk a little bit about like like I'm seeing you sitting in this church and you're hearing the message, and I think, we could all read the Bible and come away with something different. What was it about that message that just really spoke to your heart?
So remember when I and I'm not crying today now because it's still very fresh to my memory like how I felt that day. But so sometimes when I talk about the story, it still makes me cry to this day. But so I went to church, and you know how I mentioned like I was so afraid to tell people that I got defeated. I cannot tell people that I closed my business because I feel like everybody's gonna judge me at that time. But when I went to church, the message was so clear to me because the message was all about, hey, you can fail so many times, but it's okay, and you can like literally bounce back. And then one of the messages where we're talking about, even if you fail, that's okay, you just have to tell people that you did. And then at the same time, there were like a lot of examples. Like I remember the pastor literally going through different stories of people who failed, like Michael Jackson, like how many times he failed, all that failures. And like I said, I think at that time I have all these pride in my heart that I couldn't like open up to anybody. But then the message was very clear that tells me like, hey, run back to me, child. Because like I said, so I remember that exact line because it was the exact line that said, yes, I mean, you don't have to go through this alone, like you have to run back to me, child. And then it was literally talking about failure. It was talking about like sometimes what's happening to you is just a redirection. It was real. It was a real
Mhm.
redirection because at that time it was August 8th of 2024. So after church, I think a few days later, I started going to Facebook because I was trying to like find something to like distract my attention, because I think if I do not do that, I probably will be crazy, just thinking about how I lost my business, how I no longer have money to get started. So what I did was, a few days later, I posted on Facebook like, who wants to learn HighLevel, because that's the only thing I could think of. And then all of a sudden, like less than 24 hours, I had like over 1,000 people joined or commented on that Facebook group. So I created a group, and then I started just teaching people HighLevel for free. So it's funny because even though I was like going through a lot that time, I was able to open up a community, and I didn't know that it's gonna go crazy that in just less than I think 2 weeks, we had over 4,000 members. Now I have no choice but to just go up every single day and face the reality that I don't have a business, but then there's 4,000 people looking to learn from me or are very excited to learn from me. So yeah, I basically restarted my business at the same time that I closed the other one. So
I love so much that you said that you were being redirected, because I oftentimes I feel like these things happen in our lives, and it's like, yes, it feels so horrible, and it's like you're in this storm, but there's a reason for the storm, and it's like you said, it's like you were hearing God telling you, come back to me. And it's like
yeah.
he he rewarded you for that. It's like, I think that he sees us in these storms and he's like, Cece, I love you. I want what's best for you. Come
Oh,
back to me so that I can show you the way
that's
that you're
exactly
supposed to
the
go.
message that I got that day. And I'm so sorry. I meant to say like Michael Jordan, because the example that was provided that day was like he's missed 9,000 shots in his career and lost so many games. But then when he entrusted everything to God, like he failed over and over and over in his life, and that's when he succeeded. So that's when because at that time I was like, I think I'm not really praying anymore. Like when I was running my business, I think I relied so much on my abilities and as well as my, on myself. I forgot about going to church because I was so busy, and I think that day was a lesson for me to just, you know, child, you can't do this alone kind of situation. So
We're not supposed to.
yeah,
It's like he doesn't want us to.
that's
So
right.
if we get too far away, he's like, hey, you're relying on yourself, Cece. You
Yes.
don't know everything. And I actually have this other thing over here that's pretty amazing I want you to do.
Right. So I'm like, I know God taught me like literally a painful lesson, but then at the same time, He's able to like help me stand up from that situation literally overnight, right? I mean, who would have thought that you could actually build your own community right after failing your business? I think nobody does that but Him. I mean, I don't know like how
Mhm.
many people is gonna believe that story, but up to this day, I'm still amazed how I was really able to bounce back from that story. I mean, from that failure.
So, just out of curiosity, how long was the transition of the churn that you talked about? So you talked about churning all of these accounts, and I mean, like, do you ever think about like over that time period, or after, I should say, after you started the new community,
Mhm.
looking back on it, do you ever think I should have let go of that so much sooner. I should have redirected so much sooner, but I need, we need to go through that trial of redirect that where
Right.
God is walking us through, the fire before we can come out on the other side. But do you ever look back on it and just think, my goodness, I should have done that so much sooner?
Yeah, well, I'm really stubborn, so I would agree with you, Marla. I think I should have seen it sooner, but I was trying to save people. I think at that time I already know that we're failing, that I should have closed the business earlier on, more than having to wait over a year just to close it down. So it was in 2023, earlier in 2023 we already started seeing, like the churn, meaning losing clients, because in
Yeah.
the past we used to keep clients over like 4 years, right? But at that time, at least late in 2022, I already noticed a decline and then the churn. But then I was so stubborn that I'm like, yeah, I can survive this, we can do this. In that 2023 we're already negative, like negative in revenue, but I'm still trying to continue because I like I said, I'm stubborn, and at the same time I feel bad for everybody to lose their jobs. So I was literally just keeping the business because I was so, you know, I was I was feeling bad about losing people, and at the same time I was feeling bad that I couldn't help them out. So I literally stayed until 2024, and honestly it drained all my savings. Like I said, I could have stopped earlier on, probably earlier in 2023 when I saw the decline. I could have done something earlier on so it didn't really just drain me, not just financially but I guess mentally, because as I've mentioned, I think I get to a point where I'm already struggling mentally. I think I was trying to save people but I wasn't really saving them, I was just being stubborn. So I was like saving them, but at the same time I was like literally telling them things that I shouldn't have told them, but because it was all from the stress of running the business. And like I said, I was just trying to save them, but they don't really need to be saved at all because they can manage themselves. I have this, I would say like character that really tries to help as much as I could, even if the cup is empty. My mentor would always tell me, "Don't try to help when your cup is empty." But like I said, I'm hard headed, so I'll do anything and everything in my power so that I could help people. But at the same time, there's a risk in doing so. Sometimes you really couldn't do it for everybody. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
yeah.
I,
Mhm.
I think a lot of times that we do think, oh, well, I'm just going to continue this because, I'm helping. And in reality,
No,
you're
you're
just
not.
prolonging having to tell people. And do you think that you were afraid to be judged by other people? Or do you think that telling people just made it too real? It's like you had to accept that it really did fail. And as soon as the words leave your mouth, it's like, okay, this is real. Because I think when we live in our own minds, we can kind of say, yeah, we can pull out of it and we can, it'll be fine and we'll figure something out. But then when you tell someone, it's like, okay, I can't come back from this now. okay, we're closing the doors? Do you think it was more your own judgment maybe you were
I
afraid
think
of?
it is, but at the same time, I think it was also my ego. Reflecting, reflecting to that story now. I mean, just, like going back to the day, like why did I not tell people ahead of time? Why did I not like remove people ahead of time? I thought I was trying to be helpful, but honestly, I feel like it was more for me than for them. Because I was so afraid to tell people that, oh, I no longer have a business, or maybe, oh, I probably have lost this many people, or oh, I have failed the business. Honestly, that was the first business that I ever had. I mean, I used to be in the customer industry for a while and then became a trainer and then opened up my own business. So that was my baby. So, like admitting to myself that I failed and admitting it to the public that I did fail, it was so hard, I guess. And at that time, like I said, I thought I was helping, but really I wasn't. I was maybe just too afraid to tell people that I failed. Just going back to that now.
Do you think that that's part of your passion for community? Just feeling like I know oftentimes building my own business, I just was so like lonely. Like no one
I
understood
think
anything that I was trying to do. And I just felt like I didn't have anyone that I could celebrate wins with and losses with, and no one I could like bounce ideas off of. And it just, when you get to that point where you were and you don't have community, it is such a lonely
I
feeling. I
think
know
it
for
is.
me, that's definitely my passion for community. Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I think when you're a people person, I think that's very natural for you, to think like that and to act like that. So I think it was really related to, yeah, being alone. Because I invested so much on these people, meaning when I started hiring them in the like initially, I was invested to helping them reach their goals, reach their dreams, and to see that I failed the business and I could no longer do that is what hurts me the most. So you're actually right. I feel like when I lose them, I'm going to start losing people whom I have committed myself into. And at the same time, like being alone in the journey, like not having somebody who's going to be beside you when you fail or when you win. And that's also when I realized, honestly, that probably I'm not for that kind of business because I commit so much to people. Like I literally give my life to people. I mean, what I'm trying to say is when I started, like losing people, them resigning, and realizing that yeah, people just leaves naturally because they're my employees. They're not really somebody who's gonna stick in the long run. It was so painful to see people leave. So for me, having a community that I don't have to stop from resigning or I don't have to control, because at that time I have all the control, right? Because they're your employees. But now it's so different because you are like in a community perspective. They don't People don't leave you. So you're right, Bridget. I think it was because I was so afraid to be so alone in the journey. So yeah, I was like trying to keep everybody in my side without realizing that probably I'm hurting them, or maybe I'm stopping them from growing even more. So yeah, you're right. I think it's the hardest,
I think
right?
my I think my community, I feel very much the same. It's like they come in and they're so overwhelmed and frustrated and all of that. And then you just kind of guide them and show them the way. And then it's like a year later, they're, oh my gosh, I just got this client and I just did this. And it is
Exactly.
so, it's so much more rewarding,
It
I think,
is.
than having like an agency client who's like, yeah, I got more sales and that's cool. And that's what we want. But really, when you're working with someone in your community and they get those wins, it's a whole different
It is a
experience. It's
whole
a
level
whole
of,
other level.
yes, it's a
Yeah.
different level of happiness, excitement at the same time because you're literally helping change people's lives. So it's amazing to see. Especially now we have like over 12,000 people in the community, and it's always
Wow,
still
I love it.
amazing to see them, to see the wins every single day, to hear their story. We had one, just to share, we had somebody who it's funny because he literally invested to join the community. His wife is about to give birth, but instead of saving the money, he invested it into the community and got his ROI like literally in less than a month. And he was able to like like provide for that delivery. He was so afraid, but he took the risk, and now he has like 4 clients. I mean, those are the types of, I would say, stories, and I would say like life that has touched me since building the community. So yeah, it's a different happiness, honestly.
Yeah, I think when you have clients, those wins are very measurable in numbers. And when you have a community, the wins are sometimes not. Like I love to hear, I could hear you increased your ROI all day long, and
Right,
that is super fun. But when I hear that you were able to pay for the delivery of your child that you were so stressing about, that is like I could do this the rest of my life
right.
because that is incredible.
Right. Now it's, more than the revenue, you're now counting the impact you've made to people.
Mhm.
And like I said, it's the most rewarding feeling. It's not even just about helping them get clients, but just to help them get some confidence. I mean, I had someone who messaged me and said, I used to not, like I'm not very confident in using my computer, but when she's joined the community, now she's also building automation, right? So imagine somebody who's so afraid to use a computer or a laptop per se, and then all of a sudden got that confidence to finally use it and even building an automation. I mean, that's just crazy. So yeah, I mean, now I'm counting the impact more than the sales revenue. So you're right.
Do you see people inside your community like networking outside the community and building partnerships and I see that all the time, and I tell them I feel like a proud mama. I
Yes.
am just so I love to hear that because again, it's like we're not just when we're building communities, we're not just doing webinars every day where we're doing a sales
True.
pitch. What we're building is the network, it is the community. And it's not just about us as community leaders,
True.
it's about everyone in the community. And I think there's so many people who have such different experience and skill sets and skill levels that it's cool that they can all get together. And it's like we see the same people every single day.
Yes.
And they see the same people every single day. So if someone's missing, they say, "Hey, where's Ray? I haven't seen him." Or they'll reach out outside of the community and say, "Hey Ray, where you been?" Or "How are you doing? Is everything okay?" And it's like that's so amazing. That's what we're really trying to build. I know in this world, and I talk about this all the time, in this world of AI, the hot new thing is going to be connections with
Yes.
people being people.
That you're actually right about that, Bridget. I mean, there's no other way but to become more human nowadays, right? So this is why we do a lot of events, like in-person events in the Philippines, because we really want them to connect with other people. When you build a community, you're right, it's not just about you, it's about you connecting people to people, and then letting them explore, letting them see what others are doing, and to also learn from them. So yeah, in the age of AIs, we need to be more human.
You
Yeah.
know, that's why we created this podcast. High Level has so many amazing people, and not everyone has a large personal brand. And also, I know that you experience this just like Marla and I do when we go to the summit. It's like we sit down and we get to talk to everyone on a much deeper level than we do like just on Facebook. But when you sit down and you have these conversations, not everyone gets to hear all of the stuff, you know? Not everyone gets to hear how cool Cece is, you know,
Aw.
behind the scenes, not on camera being, you know, your personable self.
Right.
You're like that behind the camera too. I just think there's so much power in that. And that's also why we all love the summits because we all finally get to get outside of our computers and go talk to each other as real human beings.
Yes, true. And I think um I I I s- I am so happy that you did this. It's because, people get to learn from hearing other people's stories. Sometimes we get strength from just hearing somebody's story. So I am really, really honored to be here, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity to even talk about my story, to talk about myself, and just being here. I don't even know what I've done to be invited here, Bridget, honestly. So I just want to say thank you for doing this, because then, my story would reach another person that's probably going through the same phase as I did. And just hearing that, lion, come back to me, child, somebody must probably needs to hear that line too. Like sometimes you don't have to rely on your own strength. Sometimes you just have to leave it all up to him, and that could probably resolve everything that you're going through. I mean, yeah, this podcast is really powerful because then it the message reaches another person that's probably struggling as well. So, thanks for doing
You
this.
know, you were on my top 10 list of people that I wanted to interview.
Oh,
One, because I didn't get to speak to you at the
I
summit.
know we were so busy.
I was like, "How is she here?" And I have not even seen her. It's so crazy how we could be in the same building and not even see each other. But that's one reason. But also, you're a powerhouse. That's why
Aw,
I wanted to talk to you. And I know that you have a good story, and I love to hear people say like, "I was this low, and I
yes.
climbed out of it, and now here I am." But I do have to ask you,
Mm.
at this level you're at right now, and everything is great. What's something that you're afraid of now?
Oh, that's a hard question. Now I had to pause. Afraid. Maybe I'm no. Um, I don't know if I would share this or not, but honestly, when I heard that line, when I went to church at that time, I feel like I'm no longer afraid of anything. Because, like, not even losing the community or not even losing another business or another person in my life. If there's anything I'm afraid of right now, is as a mother. I mean, I used to think like dying is okay because then I go to heaven right away. But right now, the only thing I'm afraid of is leaving my kids behind. Honestly, every single day, I'm crazy, right? I used to like literally worry about, oh, what's gonna happen to my kids if I die. Normally, when I travel like outside of the Philippines, or normally when I get to a plane, I used to think that hard, like what happens to my kids if I die. So honestly, I'm no longer afraid of anything other than that, honestly. So
I'm not a mother, and I think about what would happen to my dogs if I died. I don't
exactly.
it's not even the same.
Exactly, I think that's the only
I think
thing
you're
I'm
good.
so fearful about right now in my life, because for me, with what I've gone through as a business owner, as a person, I think he can do anything and everything for me, and I'm not worried. But I think, like I said, the only thing I'm gonna be worried about is what happens to my kids if I'm gone. Yeah. It's weird that I
Amen.
shared that. Like I said, I'm not even sure if I should share it, but I think about it a lot.
Well, yeah, it's the truth, and you are so transparent, and that's why people love you.
Aw, thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit more about you? Like, you're a mom. That's that people want to know who is Cece, right? And also I would say internationally, there's so many questions that I want to know, like who is Cece, and then how did you end up, what was the impact of this person who decided to work internationally across time zones, 12 hours, 13 hours difference. So can you just maybe tell us about that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we jump on my story right away without introducing myself. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I am a high level coach in the Philippines. So I do teach Filipinos to also learn high level, specifically so they can leverage it as a skills for themselves and then make money of it. And at the same time, I try to help them to become SAASpreneurs. Honestly, there's like a deeper reason, behind that. That's because I used to like attend a lot of international events in the past where, when we encounter people, they're gonna talk to me as if I'm an assistant to somebody. Like, hey, were you invited? Are you an assistant of somebody here? who attended the event without realizing that I'm an actual business owner myself. So I think that's a very common connotation, especially if you're a Filipino. And really, what drives me to this day to change that mindset of people about Filipinos is I saw like a video before, although this was very recent, like how, like, what do you think about Filipinos? You know, there's this video that roam around and said, yeah, they're legal slaves, just maids in other countries. And honestly, it really upsets me. But more than that, it challenged me to become even more. That's why the tagline of my business was to do more, do better. It wasn't really just for the branding or the marketing itself, but it's really the truth that I wanna live by, and I want every Filipino to live by. So it's more like I teach automation now, systems, AI, anything, like any skills of the future, everything and anything that actually can help my kababayans, I call them kababayans, like all my co-Filipinos, to really become more and to dream more, because honestly, we can literally be more, right? In the global, the global space, only if we learn, only if we grow, or if we at least refuse to let the world define us. So it's like very deeply rooted to that story. So now I'm like trying to champion that story that, hey guys, we can also show up globally. We can also become founders. We can also become entrepreneurs. So when I teach them automation, we don't just teach them to become a virtual assistant, but also to become an entrepreneurs, because some of them can become also entrepreneurs. So then, you know, we're not just gonna be seen, or Filipinos are not just gonna be limited to the roles the world once boxed us in. We're not just literally anything, but we can become more, right? So yeah,
I want to. I would love to just speak to that too, because I have Filipinos on my staff, and I adore them.
yes,
Absolutely adore them. And I've got a couple that have been with me for, I don't know, 4 years or so. And when they first came, into the company, they were um, I don't know the right word to maybe use, but maybe a little bit lacking confidence to be
yes,
able to be themselves. And I really work to encourage them to come out of their shell, to
that's true.
be, to share their real true nature. And they just have watched them bloom and grow into amazing, I would say, friends. They're, they work on my team, but they're amazing people. And so I love that you are working with that. And I think that it's an important thing that you're doing to help Filipinos level up and
Yes,
um, to feel good. I mean, even if they are working, not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur.
yes,
But
true.
the thing is you also don't need to feel subservient in your in mentality, and that the just at bringing them up and helping them gain that confidence that undoubtedly you're giving them is amazing. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just giving them confidence, not, not really to push them to become entrepreneurs, because not everybody's built to become entrepreneurs, but culturally we were raised to just say, to just agree on everything and to just say yes to everything, or to say ma'am, sir. Like it's natural to us Filipinos. So what I'm trying to do is, you're right, like level them up to show them
Mhm.
that they can do more, and that they can also make suggestions, they can make recommendations, because most of us were like too afraid to tell our clients, hey, this is wrong, maybe we can do this better. We were too afraid to provide what's on our mind. And I kind of want to change that by letting them believe that they can, and that they can also get some confidence. So being able to do this now, it's amazing to see how Filipinos are now more believing in themselves, that they can, that they got inspired by the story, that they also want to become, they want to join the SAASpreneurs in Dallas. Like just seeing how much people have been inspired by the story, that they also can do it, right? Because sometimes
Mhm.
they just have to see somebody do it, and then they can also become one. So yeah, next year my goal is, hey, let's bring more Filipinos in the SAASpreneur event. So yeah, like it's becoming a movement that you can also, be a part of something bigger than yourself. So yeah.
I think that's why they're so inspired by your story, Cece, because you know all of their pain points.
Yes.
You know where they're from, you understand the culture, you also had struggles, and they know, like, and trust you. I mean, that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
So when they know, like, and trust you, and then they hear your story, to them it says, "Oh, she did it, I can do it too." And
Yes.
that's absolutely inspirational. And that's why we want to share these stories with people and say, hey, we're not all perfect. Like, you might see that I won 2 Teslas. You didn't see that I traded in my 2014 Toyota Corolla that I was driving when I got the Teslas because it was paid off and I was trying to build businesses. It's
Yeah.
like I didn't want the car payment. I wouldn't have never even bought myself a Tesla because I'm always in that, like, survival mindset, like, why do I need a Tesla? It's too expensive. I don't need all that. But I think you just get to a different level where you level up your own expectations as well. But I think it's so cool for people to hear the stories behind the success because it's not like we just woke up one day and now we're all
No.
winning awards at the high level summit, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, there's a lot of hours behind them.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny how you shared that because I literally just shared that a few hours ago in my timeline. Like, sometimes it's exhausting to see a same script online how, hey, here's my 8-digit income, my car, my new house, my luxury, things like that. But what don't people really realize is what you see online is the after effect, right? Just like what you said. They never seen the price we all pay during the before, like, the sleepless nights, all that failed launches, failed businesses, all that hundreds of cold outreach, I guess, or the rejections we had to go through just to be able to get that award, right? So yeah, sometimes we see a lot of flashy things online, but yeah, it comes from building your own, like slowly, painfully, and really consistently, right? So you're actually right.
People,
Mhm.
not everybody, and honestly, most people, this has been my experience,
Mhm.
they're not dreaming about
Oh,
Teslas and big
yes.
houses. They're dreaming about not living paycheck to paycheck.
True.
They're dreaming about being able to, buy their kids a prom dress, or they're dreaming about being able to, like, go on vacation without putting it on a credit card, or not having debt,
Yes.
or being able to have weekends and evenings off to spend with their family. These are really all the things that us as business owners, we were dreaming about too. I don't know about you, Cece, but I certainly wasn't dreaming about a Tesla. I don't know about you, Marla. Not
Nope.
even close, not even relevant to me at all. I want
Nope.
my house paid off. I want no debt whatsoever. Like, these are all the things I'm thinking about. Retirement, what's that going to be like? All of these things I think are real, like, they're things that people are worried about. So every time someone's online, like I saw Andy Audate, he shared something about, like, when he got started and basically all this time freedom that he has developed for himself, and I commented and said, that's the real flex.
Mhm.
It's not the, I mean, I love the award. I've got them back here. We all do. I love all of that. So I love the Teslas. I drive it, and every time I drive it, I think this is the coolest thing I've ever owned. But that's not really what I was dreaming about. And
Yeah.
and I think that that's really, as marketers, that's what we need to remember. It's not about all that flashy stuff. We want to get to the pain points that people have. Like, what keeps them up at night?
True.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and on your point, Bridget, like I before I got my new car, I was driving a 2012 Honda CRV, and it was paid off and had been for years and years and years. And I just, it didn't even really occur to me that I was so too busy building my business to worry about, you know, and I remember like my CPA was like, maybe you should buy a car. You need a tax strategy. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, yeah. I mean, we're not thinking about that.
Yeah.
We're just busy building the business.
But also, I think that's what makes us different. We understand This is not building a business is not like a get rich quick scheme.
It is
It's
not.
not like you buy a lottery ticket and you just, oh, my numbers were called. All right, let's all go buy new stuff. That doesn't
It's a
happen. It's
constant
like,
battle.
yes, I mean, every single thing that we have today was bought with blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. I mean, especially for
And
me, Bridget.
over time,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Cece, go
yeah,
ahead.
Marla. I mean, especially for me, because I never came from a really well-off family. I didn't tell you this, but my dad, he was incarcerated for about 18 years. So right
I
after,
do.
yeah, he did. So after he went out of prison, we literally have nowhere to live. So I never had, like, I would say, a role model to look at in terms of, building a business. I have nobody to, to tell me like how to start a business kind of situation. So, I had, like, that's why I think when I failed the business, I was so afraid to go back to where we was in the past. I think more than losing the business, it's because I was so afraid to fail and to go back to where we were, right? So yeah, I mean, right, you're right. So, I mean, running a business takes a lot of grief and takes a lot of motivation because it's a constant daily battle, right? Of you, whether to close the business, whether to not close the business, whether to do something else, like it's a crazy thing to run a business.
And I think when you do this in public, it adds another layer to it because it's
Yes,
like you were saying, you're afraid to fail, and then it's not just failing because you're actually failing in public.
true.
Like, could you imagine if any of us like closed our businesses down today? That would be like, it would be so hard internally. But then it's like not just family and friends, it's literally the world. Is like, "Did you
Yeah.
hear about Bridget? She did you hear Cece? She
Uh,
shut her business down." So it's so scary sometimes. And then also the layer of being responsible for other people. Like the job that you do for your business, there's people that have you've hired that rely on you to make good decisions so that they can pay their bills. That is like a whole other level of pressure. That's like literally, it's bad enough to be the entrepreneur trying to pay your own bills. And then you hire a team. And guess what? Now it's like you're the head of their whole household. You have to
exactly.
now make great decisions because it's like if they can't feed their kids because they didn't get their paycheck, guess whose fault it is?
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's why I'm always, like proud of every business owners out there, like how they how they go through this journey, because I've been there and I'm still in there right now, but sometimes, you question yourself why you do things. Because you could have just become an employee and not worry about a thing, but yeah, we're here. I think it's just meant to be here. I mean, you're just meant to be here, right? So,
Mhm.
I think we would all be terribly bored as
oh
employees.
yes, I will.
We talk about the stress, but honestly, if I didn't have that stress, I would be so bored.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, I literally couldn't, do something like just every day doing the same thing. I just can't. I have to be challenged every single day. So yeah, you're right.
And the business is never ever like challenges are that's what we do. Like we're professional problem solvers for sure.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's
So
innate.
Cece, you have to tell me. Yes, absolutely. It's like a skill set that we have to develop more than anything else. We have to
Yeah.
solve problems.
True.
But I have to know, Cece, what is your dream vacation? If you had someone else who was a rock star running your business for you, you could take a whole week off with your family and go anywhere in the entire world. Where would it be?
Japan. Yeah, well, we're doing it
Oh,
next May. I mean next year May. But it's always been a
yay!
dream to, to go there, to have the kids really see the first snow. I don't know, but yeah, it's been a dream vacation. So we're spending a week,
What
so
is yay! So what is it about Japan that you love so much?
it's I think it's really the people at the same time. I think it's not really for me. I think it's for my kids. I'm excited for them because there's like Hello Kitty Land, there's that like melody. So everything that they really want to see is in Japan. So yeah, I think it's my kids' dream, and it became mine because I'm super super excited for them to see the Disney World. Although they've been to Japan, I mean to Hong Kong once, but I think it's so different in Japan because it's bigger, and there's Disney Sea, and there's Hello Kitty. Like I said, they like it very much. They talk about it every single day. And yeah, I'm excited for them.
How old are your children?
Um yeah, they're 4 and 6. So my youngest is 4 and 6. Mhm.
Okay.
And they're both
Yeah.
girls, so they love Melody and Kuromi a lot.
So how old are you?
32. Imagine.
I'm dying because you look 12.
Ah, thank
And
you.
I'm thinking I'm thinking,
I
"How
get
can you
that a
have a
lot.
kid at
I
6
get
years
that a
old,
lot.
Cece?" Well, and when you said that about, like, meeting people and they think that you're not a business owner, I wondered how much of that is because you're Filipino and how much is it because you look
Because
12?
you look
Yeah.
12 or you're 4'11. Yeah. You're actually right about that. The first time I went to Vegas, the first time I went to the US was I went to Vegas, and they literally had to ask me for my identification because they thought I was a child. So
I love it. But see, when you're, like, 60, you're gonna look 30, so it's amazing.
thank you. I think that's a
Cece,
compliment.
it totally is, it totally is,
Yes.
100%. So is there anything that you think that the high level community, something that they don't know about you that you would like to share?
Oh, anything that they don't know about me? That I just woke up this morning. I literally woke up 4 minutes before joining the podcast, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? Because it's 5 a.m. in the morning here. But anything they don't know about me? I think I'm very, very transparent. I mean, I think I've told everybody about myself already. Maybe they don't know I have kids because I look young. Yeah, but anything they don't know about me yet? Oh, that I do a lot of speaking engagements in the Philippines as well, literally almost every single month. And that I was actually a trainer for about 5 years before I even teach automation. So I used to be in the tech industry, literally training people, also troubleshooting, technical wise. So yeah, I think that's really it. But anything else? That I love to travel. So that's the reason why I'm also attending the summits because I used to dream about it before. Honestly, it's crazy because I used to dream about it when I was younger like, oh, I want to travel a lot. Actually when I was 18, I already went to Hong Kong the first time even though I don't have much money because it's my dream to travel the world. And being able to do it now, it's crazy how it changed because now I'm like just tired traveling. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I love traveling, but doing it as a business, like just attending for business, kind of changed the situation, but I still love to travel. Yeah. And I
Yeah. It
love
is different.
having around people. I mean, meeting everybody, especially, everybody in the high level community, like how friendly everyone is. It's amazing. I mean, it's the best community that I've ever been in my life, honestly.
I 100% agree with you.
Mm. Yeah.
The it almost seems like, are these people real?
I know.
Because how are they so, like, smart and funny and kind and giving? And it's like, am I missing something? Are they just kissing my butt? Or what is happening here? Why is
It's
everybody
not
so
normal,
amazing?
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody's
I
just so
know.
amazing. And yeah, I don't know if there's any other community that exists out there as giving, as helpful, as warm as everybody. I mean, I in the like in my first summit, like the first time I attended the summit, I was so scared. I was so afraid because maybe, like they wouldn't treat me the same way. But when I attended the first one, everybody was like hugging me. Everybody was like Cece. I'm like, how did they even know knew Cece? Like I was so shocked and really speechless about everything. So yeah, it's the best
I was
community.
too. I
Yeah.
was completely overwhelmed the first summit that I went to because I just thought I was nervous and like, I wanted to like see people. It never occurred to me.
Yes.
This is so crazy. It never occurred to me ever that there would be so many people who knew me.
I know.
That was so shocking. It's like if you ever imagined what it's like to be a celebrity and
I
then one day
know.
you are, it is so weird. Well, Cece, thank you so much for joining us. This is a pleasure as always.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you so
Thank you,
much for
Cece.
having me. I mean, I think I'm just talking to a friend today, like literally just talking about my story. So thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And I'm very excited to have this out. I literally genuinely enjoyed this entire conversation. I almost cried, almost. Your questions, I think, were so thoughtful, and you really created such a comfortable space to share my story. So, really, thank you guys. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about, like I said, myself, my story, and just thankful for this platform that you built. So, thank you guys.
Well, thank you for saying that and
Mm,
thank you for being here.
yep.
Thank you, Cece.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. How could you not love Cece? I mean,
Wow.
really.
Yeah, she's so authentic and just genuine. I enjoy that.
You can see why her community members love her. And,
Mhm.
she hit on that point so much about just being transparent and just being who she really is. We're so much alike. And
Yeah.
I think that there's a certain level of like boldness that you have to acquire to be unapologetically yourself. And I
Mhm.
don't think that it means like we're perfect people, like we're going to say everything the perfect way, we're not going to ever insult anyone with an opinion or something like that. I think it's just saying, like, this is who I am and this is what's important to me. And hopefully you can accept that. And if you can't, I, what else can you do? Because it's yourself. Like, how are you supposed to change to accommodate other people? Of course not. And I think that people see that fakeness. They see the transparency as
Mhm.
well as people not being real.
Mm, that's good. That's really good. And it I keep going back to thinking about that she is building not just a community, but a change in how people perceive people from the Philippines. And I love that. Um, and just giving them opportunity to decide whether or not, there's, like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with being an employee, or there's nothing wrong with being an entrepreneur, but just equipping them and empowering them to be able to go on that journey to see what works for them. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah, because I think we've talked before, just creating a high level account and
Mhm.
learning high level,
Mhm.
it opens up so many doors. And maybe not having an agency,
Yeah.
maybe not, you know, starting your own business, but it could be being a VA. It could be using high level for some other business that you may have. Maybe you love to quilt
Mhm.
and you learned high level and now you figured out how you can sell your quilts and that type of thing and promote your business and all of those things. It's just having that knowledge of how to build even the most simple system is incredibly powerful and provides an endless opportunities for people.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm glad we were able to have her on, and she was accommodating with her schedule, because I know it is really, really early in the morning for her.
I know, God bless her heart. It was so great
Yeah.
to get to know her better, and
Yeah.
definitely I will hunt her down like a crazy person next year to see her in person. So,
Yep. We'll do it.
well, thank you, Marla, for joining me today. Thank you,
Oh,
everyone, for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Leverage and Lead Podcast.
bye,
Bye.
everyone.
New episodes are added weekly. Make sure to subscribe and visit our website if you'd like to receive our newsletter or apply to be a guest at leverageandlead.com.